Yeah,
but she needs to be on a better. She needs to be on a better team.
Look, Caitlin Clark is gone. She's packed her bags, and she's not looking back no matter what anyone says. And honestly, good for her. She actually values herself, unlike, the league. She's not sticking around to be a punching bag for a league that couldn't even protect its biggest star. What's crazy is ESPN is still acting like they have any say over her decisions now that she's signed her new deal in Europe.
She struggled with physical defense she's faced at the professional level and voiced frustration with the league's officiating, recently telling reporters, quote, "I feel like I'm getting hammered and everybody is physical with me, and opponents get away with things that other people don't get away with." That's what Caitlin Clark...
She's been getting so much abuse, not just from players, and the refs just ignored it, but also from fans. These are supporters who honestly couldn't believe she was the only one trying to keep this whole thing together, basically preserving the league's absurdity.
What I am upset about, it's like, hey man, your meal ticket is under constant attack. There's been dirty plays all season.
But here's the thing, she just dropped a huge bombshell on the WNBA, and now everyone is absolutely freaking out. She decided she's more valuable than, well, being treated like some beat-up cash cow. So, sorry, ESPN, your golden goose has flown the coop. All that's left for you is this giant emptiness, a massive potential loss. She carried this league's weight all season long, dealing with vicious fouls, getting her body examined like she was playing hockey, not basketball. And now, Caitlin Clark is off to Europe. It's almost funny how ESPN is trying to act all indifferent about it. She decided enough was enough, and she's leaving a trail of crushed egos and broken dreams. And honestly, I don't blame her one bit.
She's on the wrong team. She's got the wrong skill set to handle the physicality of that league. And she's a rookie.
This player isn't just progressing, she's absolutely leveling up. In her last game against the Connecticut Sun, she dropped 29 points, dished out 10 assists, and grabbed 7 rebounds. Meanwhile, her teammates, they were just staring at her, making mistake after mistake. They missed open shots. They called plays that, frankly, a high school coach wouldn't even use. And the WNBA, watching all this, new fans weren't signing up for a UFC match, but they still let the officials treat her like a punching bag. That's exactly what the WNBA became, every single time Clark stepped on the floor.
Caitlin Clark was assaulted yesterday in her very first playoff game in the WNBA.
Before Caitlin, the Indiana Fever were lucky to get about 3,000 fans per game. Honestly, it felt more like a neighborhood block party than a professional event. But now that she showed up, 177,000 fans packed the arena for every game. That's a 400%. So now, ESPN and their analysts are finally realizing they were sitting on a cash cow this whole time. Talk about convenient, right?
The Indiana Fever, all right, with Caitlin Clark, led the league in attendance both home and on the road. Fever averaged 17,000.
Seriously, how's that for impact? They didn't just have a star on their hands, they had a once-in-a-generation phenomenon. But instead of really celebrating the one player who brought the WNBA to this level of prominence, everyone just wanted to keep focusing on sharing the wealth.
If Caitlin Clark is the quote-unquote savior, if she's the golden girl, milk it!
And to get this, let's not even start on product sales. Caitlin Clark's jersey sold more than any player in league history. That includes Hall of Famers like Diana Taurasi and Sue Bird. That's not just amazing, it's historic. She turned the WNBA into must-watch TV. Her games were practically a national event. But did ESPN ever treat her like the superstar she was? No way. They gave her mediocre coverage, acting like she was just another player. And now they're rushing to pretend they weren't totally sleeping on her. But it's too late, ESPN.
The truth is finally coming to the light. The same light that is going to be dimming here in about 12 hours when Caitlin Clark is eliminated from the playoff.
What's crazy is watching ESPN now. Caitlin Clark decided to move to Europe after what's basically been a nightmare of a WNBA career, and suddenly everyone else is rushing to pay attention. Her game against the New York Liberty, it drew 1.5 million viewers. That's more than some NBA games on TNT. Now that she's gone, there are going to be so many empty seats, dusty jerseys, and a whole lot of talking heads at ESPN trying to figure out how they managed to ruin the most straightforward win in sports broadcasting history.
It's important that we point this out. One of the things that I brought up this morning in talking about Caitlin Clark is that some of the players, you want to use the word jealousy, fine. You want to use the word envy, fine.
Imagine this. You're the face of a franchise, a rising star, and the league treats you like a punching bag. That's how vicious the physicality Caitlin Clark faced in the league really was. It was like she was entering a street fight every time she laced up her shoes. She didn't even need to defend herself because the league just acted like nothing was wrong.
But if you're not delivering the product and you're not making the revenue and you're not, giving people the entertainment that they want, then you're not going to make any money and your league is going to suck.
Plus, if you watched any of her games, the refs just seemed to be playing see no evil, hear no evil more than anything else. What did the WNBA actually do? The infamous iPad incident should have been a huge wake-up call for everyone, but instead, the WNBA just chose to ignore it, acting like it's totally normal for a great player to be treated like an outsider in their own league. Clark even said she felt like she was being pummeled on the court.
And this woman swats at the basketball and somehow decides to turn her hand down and her fingernails and jab them right into the eye of Caitlin Clark. No foul call. No refs stopping the game to go, is this a flagrant? None of that. Just everybody moved on.
And the psychological toll, man, you're trying so hard to lead a team, but you're left defenseless, unprotected, and even worse, criticized for not being able to handle it. Give me a break. You can't even put that into words. Every missed chance, every cheap shot, where were they then? Now they're trying to catch up, and honestly, it's pathetic. The league and its media supporters made a huge mistake, and it's still happening.
Those guys, they're the racists, when really, y'all are the racists. The people coming up with excuses to hate Caitlin Clark and the new fan base that she brought.
But wait, it gets even juicier. Alyssa Thomas made comments about racial prejudice in the fandom, and instead of, oh, I don't know, focusing on Caitlin's jaw-dropping talent, what did ESPN do? Thomas started making accusations. She claimed racial dynamics were somehow ingrained in Clark's success.
Honestly, it's been a lot of nonsense. I think in my 11-year career, I've never experienced the racial comments from the Indiana Fever fan base. We had her face on a serious matter that happened in this world, and it's unacceptable, honestly. And there's no place for it. And
they just took Clark's successes and tried to diminish them into some racial debate. They framed her whole thing with this absurd scenario and then ran it like breaking news. Instead of just showcasing her record-breaking games, what she actually did out there, she broke records. She set ankles, and she carried a whole team on her back.
She's got 14,000 followers. And it's really easy to ignore, and most people don't know who she is in the sports world. The only reason why people even know who she is because of Caitlin Clark. And she still only got 14,000 followers on Twitter. She doesn't have much of a brand.
In response, Clark totally stood her ground. She insisted her success came from perseverance and hard work, not some flimsy racial narrative. But listen, the fact that she even had to do that, it just shows how skewed the media's coverage has been. And then they lean into it, trying to stir things up even more, because clearly they can't read a room. She's the golden goose. They had this huge chance to promote her as the next big thing. Spoiler alert, she was the next big thing. But instead, they focused on a narrative that would only hurt everyone's reputation. It's embarrassing. What positive impact does that even have on public perception, even in the short term? It's just creating a poisonous environment. Clark shouldn't have to deal with these sideshow controversies when she should be getting recognized for her hard work.
Your biggest star, your meal ticket, the reason why you have relevancy, just got stabbed and assaulted and nothing.
Overall, this whole situation is making the WNBA look like total amateurs. And let's not even get into all the storylines about the league's inclusion efforts. The league seriously needs a wake-up call because all season long, they promoted themselves as the League of Opportunity and Equality. But when it was time to protect their most valuable asset, they completely abandoned her.
What I am upset about is like, hey man, your meal ticket is under constant attack. There's been dirty plays all season.
So now, the WNBA and ESPN are stuck dealing with the fallout. They ignored the one player who made them an entertaining spectacle to watch. It's just too little, too late. The WNBA had a golden chance to make Caitlin the face of the league, to build an entire franchise around her, but they failed. Now they've lost their biggest star, and they'll just watch as she takes her skills and all the buzz she created to a league that actually appreciates it. Everyone's acting like they just discovered she's the real deal, now that she's packing her bags for Europe. Good luck to you, Caitlin Clark, over in Europe. She's going to a place that will truly appreciate her talent and won't let her get torn apart every game while the refs turn a blind eye. As for ESPN, they're sitting there trying to hide the fact that they totally messed up. They let a generational talent slip right through their fingers, and now they're holding a big fat nothing. Maybe this is the wake-up call they desperately need, because right now, they're the target of a joke they didn't even realize they were making. Her leaving for Europe is going to cause complete chaos at ESPN. They'll have to say goodbye to all those juicy ratings. The irony is, they only realized what a treasure they had just before she left. So as Caitlin Clark heads off to Europe, all that spike in merchandise sales and the incredible buzz she created in a league that, let's face it, really needed a miracle to stay relevant, is now being used to try and hype up other players who can't even match what Clark did in a single season. In the wake of her departure, ESPN and the WNBA are just left to fend for themselves. They could have built an empire around her instead of settling for scraps. This isn't just a loss, it's a tragedy. The WNBA lost badly when they had a chance to be truly great. Players like Clark don't come along very often, and when they do, you treat them like royalty. ESPN wasted that chance. You deserve so much better than this disaster, Caitlin. Go save Europe.